Okay, today we're gonna put that new 2014 through the paces. I've got this 12-inch piece of blackjack oak that I'm gonna throw on it. And it's gonna start off a little bit out of balance because I've got this deep cut over here and this one's a little more sloped on this side. So in order to even that out, I moved the faceplate over a little bit so that I don't have to lose any more of the good wood than I have to. I've got some punkiness right in through here. A lot of that's going to go away. I've got some splits and checks, and I don't know how much of that's going to turn out either, but I'll deal with that as I get there. So let's get this on the lathe and get this puppy running. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. One of the things I didn't talk about on this lathe was the thing what I noticed yesterday concerning the tool post. There's, instead of this screw, the tightening screw, instead of that cranking down against the tool post itself, as a lot of lathes do, including my 3520B, there's inside here, connected to this bolt, are two opposing cams. And as you tighten the bolt up, those cams move this way. So when they move this way, they lock down on this post. I like that as a system. It does make changing tool posts not as quick because you've got to make sure that these are spread right before you try to put the post down in there, otherwise it doesn't go. So you get those spread and centered, then it goes in just fine. But I don't have a problem with that at all. I like it. First thing I want to do is flatten this off a little bit and begin rounding some of this off. I want to round this off and try to get this balanced as quickly as I can. As you can see, it's pretty out of balance. I'm going to start off slow. That was 640. That's 220. That ain't very fast. I would like it to be faster than that, but this thing is way out of balance. So that means I'm going to have a lot of this stuff. I'm on the second bell setting. The medium goes from 60 to, it says 1800 RPM. I had it up to 1900 last night with nothing on it. So, even at 260 RPMs on the second speed, I've had plenty of opportunity to bog this lathe down, and it's not bogging. I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. If I tried this thing even 2 inches smaller, trying to turn it, if this was only 10 inches and I was trying to turn this on my old Comet, there's no way. No way. Alright, let's see if I can turn it up a little. Nope, 260 is about it. Ah, there. Ah. This blackjack oak is not wet. It is dry and it's hard. Okay, let's try to get some of this leveled up over here. Alright, it's dancing a little bit. That's 600. I gotta put me a glove on because those hot shavings coming off of there hurt. Yeah, I'm getting that off of there now. Good. It's not quite as out of balance. It's still a little. 665 RPM. It's not dancing. 700 RPM. Not dancing anywhere like it was. I'm not trying to make it pretty right now. I'm just hogging off material, trying to get it smooth and the shape I want, and then I'll make my final cut. That was 840. Whoa! Long way. And that's what happens when you turn the speed controller the wrong direction. With an out of balance piece on the lathe, it'll walk on you. Dummy, don't be doing that again. Okay. If y'all excuse me for a minute, I think I need to go clean my shorts. Not really. It went up to about 1200 RPM before I got it slowed. And it just walked a little. It's all right. But that was a good test. Not a smart test, an accidental test, but a test nonetheless. All right, dummy. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you know the drill. Well, that cam really locks nice on that tool rest. Let me get Nice thing about this, now I can get this over here on this side so I can shut it off quick if I need to. There's tips out there where I can do the same thing from my 3520B. I just hadn't got around to doing it yet, but I will now. Well, I like moving. I like this. I'm gonna end my review of this lathe, my first initial review. I'll do another one in a few weeks to follow up after I've run a couple more pieces on it. I'm not gonna finish this bowl in this review. This will be a separate project video. It's just gonna take too long. I got too much filling to do on it, and it's gonna take longer than I want to get this review video out. And it's really not necessary. You saw me rough it. I put a huge piece of bone dry blackjack oak on this thing, and if you remember, I couldn't bog it down. I did manage to slip the belt once. I think it's because I didn't have it tight enough. But I was really hogging stuff off and got a catch, and I did slip the belt, but I'd never slowed this lathe down. I mean, it slowed RPMs down when I was hogging material. It would drop at 10, 15 RPM sometimes when I was really getting at it, but it's, wow. I don't have enough good things to say about this lathe. It's quiet. See, I'm still, because of the epoxy, back out of balance again. But I can step right through that with no problem. That's kicking 1100 RPM right there, 1124. And it's not dancing, it's not moving, and it's quiet. This thing has plenty of power. I kind of figured it would, because that is a 230 volt 3-phase motor. It's got reverse, which we all love for reverse sanding at times, and sometimes even for reverse turning. So just remember, if you do that, use your grub screws. Everything moves nice and smooth. Yes, these are milled. They're not stainless steel like on some lathes, but that's okay. The bedways on my 3520B, that's a 15-year-old lathe. They don't look any different than they did when I bought it, except for a stain here and there. This will fare the same well, I believe. Tailstock locks in place very securely. I'm very happy about that. And if you've seen one of my recent videos, you'll know why. I did add a little tool rack down here, and it doesn't get in my way. I can get right up close to, I can still get right up close to the lathe to do whatever I want to do. And that tool rack being there has the tools readily at hand, whether I'm working on my 2014 or I'm over here at my 3520B. So let's do a little recap. The tailstock quill has over 4 inches of travel. It runs smooth. I love it. 4 1/8 inches of travel on the tailstock quill. The tailstock mechanism, the lever in the down position is free. In the up position, it's locked. Center, this moves. Down either side, it's locked. If you remember me talking about this, I really kind of like this system. Instead of having this screw tighten into the post, marking the post up like my 3520B and some of the other lathes, and rather than having a pinch system like some of the other lathes, like I believe the Laguna uses the pinch system. This does not. I'll try to take a picture of those cams on the inside of this, and I'll put a still up here if I can get a good one. But there are two running on this bolt. There's 2 cammed pieces, and when you tighten it up, they come in and tighten down on this post, which means you can't just drop a tool post down in. You gotta put your finger in. It takes a little longer if you're going to change posts, but I don't think that's a big deal. I really don't. I like that cam lock system. Anyway, like I said, I'll try to get you a good picture of that. 3 speeds, 3 belt ranges. low, medium, and high. Low is 15 to 900 RPM. 15 RPM, yes. The medium is 30 to 30 to 1800, and that's where I've got it set. I actually got this up to 1900 RPM with that on that setting, and that's plenty for me. High, if you want to go crazy, is 60 to 3600. Motor's dead quiet. Changing the belt is easy as pie. You loosen this up, raise this, move the belts where you want, and off you go. One of the things I didn't talk about that I really like about this lathe is the indexing system. Let me get you down a little bit and see. This wheel right here has 24 marks on it, 24 indexing marks. And each of these marks lines up with the hole on the back side of this pulley. And so to lock it in place, you just move it till you find a hole, twist this screw, and it doesn't move. So you're indexed. I really like that. It's an easier to use and understand indexing system than what's on my 3520B. The newer 3520s may be different, I don't know. Another thing I really like about this lathe is the spindle lock. Yes, my 3520B has a spindle lock, but you have to keep the button pushed in with one hand. That only leaves you the one hand to work with unless you do a modification to it like I've done on mine. This one, no such deal. Simply raise this lever, if you want to call it a lever, move the spindle until you get to the detent, and this will flop or stay up, and your spindle is locked. Push it down. Don't forget to push it down and go. Main power on-off switch back here. That's basically your lockout. Magnetic control box. You can move it anywhere around the lathe you want. That comes in very handy. I love this feature. I'm going to be making a modification to my 3520B to add this. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there that show you how you can do it. The legs are just fine. Not as heavy as the legs on the 3520B and other Powermatic models. However, they don't really need to be. This lathe was designed to be portable. Yeah, a portable 300-pound lathe. If you really had to, yeah, you can do it. But one of the things about the leg systems that I really liked is right now I've got this set up. It is sitting about an inch higher, but it's right at elbow height. The spindle is right at elbow height for me, so it's just about the perfect height the way I've got it adjusted, and I've got it in the uppermost mounting holes that you can have it. But because of the mounting system on the legs and those holes, there are more holes that will let you run this thing all the way down. You could drop this lathe another 8 inches. So the spindle would go from here to about right here. And because of how this is open before I put my tool rack in there, with this being open, this will let turners that have to turn sitting down, you can adjust this thing to the height that you want it. Pull your chair up here and turn. This may be wide enough. I haven't measured it to make sure, but this looks to be wide enough. If you're a wheelchair bound turner, you can wheel your wheelchair underneath here and you can still turn, or at least up to it and turn. Just all you have to do is just, when you set it up, set it to the height that you're going to need with those adjustable legs. Brilliant feature from Powermatic. I'm really happy how they did this, and I'm happy that they did it. It comes with a tool tray of sorts, bolts to the end of the lathe. They have an optional bed extension if you so wish. Comes with a nice live center, 60-degree cone, typical spur drive, a wrench to get the included faceplate. Comes with a nice heavy-duty 3-inch faceplate, 3.5-inch knockout bar. I don't have enough good things to say about this lathe. I'm ecstatic. I love the fact that I got it. It's going to serve me well for years to come, I'm quite sure. Okay, those are all the positive things. Oh, more positive things. These screws right here, these are little plastic screws. I think they're 12.5mm holes. You can take these out and mount accessories to this, like a light bar or things of that nature. So that's pretty cool. So negatives. It's not really a negative, but I wish this was more like, even though this is a really nice live center, I wish this was more like the one that comes with a 3520B. That's no big deal. I've already got one for my 3520B, and they're readily orderable, so, or those like them. Again, not a negative to this lathe. It's a restriction of my hollowing system, which is the Tim Yoder elbow tool. If I want to use the Tim Yoder elbow tool on this lathe, I cannot. The elbow tool needs about 33 inches, and this isn't quite there. It would be long enough if I put the optional bed extension on it. If I do want to set this up for hollowing, I will get the additional bed extension. That's $250. Again, not a negative to the lathe. It's a restriction of most hollowing systems, the elbow tool being the one that I use. You could easily enough fashion your own captured hollowing rig, or even buy one of the smaller captured hollowing rigs that are available, and probably adapt it to this lathe without any difficulty. Not truly a negative, but a disappointment. So kind of a negative, I suppose. While this cast iron tool rest is strong enough, and it's been proven by my the cast iron tool rest on my 3520B. While this is strong enough, I really wish that Powermatic had included a round hardened steel bar tool rest like is available on so many of the other lathes today. I think that would be a huge benefit. They're readily available, but they're expensive, so I'm guessing they did this to try to cut down on cost. But that's probably my biggest complaint concerning this lathe, is that this is not one of the new style hardened steel tool rests that are largely being used today. I fully expected this motor to be beefy enough to handle anything that we're going to put on this thing, and it will. It just will. I'm very impressed. So that's my review of the new Powermatic 2014. I hope it helps some of you out that have been looking at it. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. I don't think you can, for the money, I don't think you're going to find a better lathe out there. I really don't. I tried my best to be as impartial as I could. Yes, I've already got one Powermatic. That's not necessarily what's going to make me partial to that particular brand. Compared to all the other lathes that I've owned and turned on, it's the second best I've ever had. And it's the same quality as my 3520B. I have no doubts or qualms about that at all. It's a fine, well-built machine. And like I said, for the money, you're not going to find a better 14-inch system out there. So thanks for watching. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, let me know. If I forgot to cover something or an area that you might be interested in, shoot me a question and I will address that. I promise. I'm trying to give you as much information and be as informative as I can. Again, trying to be as non-biased as possible. Am I happy with it? Oh, absolutely. Would I buy it again? In a heartbeat. I mean, it's that simple. It's a great lathe. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. Please share with people that you think might be interested. Like the video. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down and let me know what you didn't like about it. If you feel so inclined, subscribe. And like I said, this is my first of probably several review type videos. I'll do a follow-up in a few weeks after I've run a few more pieces on it. telling you any pros or cons or whatever that have come up. Until then, stay tuned for the project that's currently on the 2014. I'll be making that a project video as I finish it. It's just going to take too long for me to do it in this short time here. So thanks again. Y'all come back.